Rob Mills, thanks for joining me.
Great to be here, mate. Thanks so much for having me. Very excited.
Awesome. Well, look, you appeared in Dancing with the Stars back in 2009, and I believe you were eliminated second after Spider Everett. It was a fairly early exit. Why did you jump at the chance to come back? Was it redemption, the fun of the show, refining your skills? What was it?
You said it all, mate. You've basically summed it up for me. Definitely redemption, redemption, redemption. Um, I I couldn't believe I got kicked up second. I mean, it was definitely better than Spider Everett, but I was better than a few others in that group. I remember Helen telling me, this is Helen Ritchie, the judge on Dancing with the Stars, and also famous ballroom dancer Helen Ritchie, saying that she thought I was the best dancer in that group. So, look, if I didn't do it for me, I did it for Helen to come back to prove to her that I could dance a bit better.
I was going to say that maybe that you were robbed a little bit back then because you did the cha-cha, the tango, and the jive, and from memory you were getting mostly like sevens, so it's not like you were getting twos and threes or anything like that. You think you were robbed?
Look, obviously, the people at home just maybe thought I was safe, or they're just like, I hate that guy. Let's get him out. I don't know. I just remember having a great time the last time I did it. And same goes for this time as well. Just had the best time working with Sriani last time and Alana this time. Yeah, incredible performers, and it was just great to be back on stage, mate. After 2 years of a pandemic, not a lot of gigs, so it was actually really just good to be out there and doing something that scares the absolute bejesus out of me.
It was a bit of a different setup this time. I think Dan McPherson was hosting back in 2009, and Paul Mercurio was not one of the judges, but Sonia, Todd, Helen, and Mark were all there. And you also did your previous season with Kylie Gillies. So was it nice having the gang back together?
Yeah, it was great to have Kyle's just so lovely. Even just a couple of weeks ago, she said, "Do you want to come and host the morning show with me?" Larry's off doing the chase at the moment. I said, "Sure." So yeah, we've got a really good relationship. She's so much fun, and she loves the show more than anyone that I know. She absolutely like froths on it. Not the ones that she's in. She's
Yeah.
terrified every time she goes on stage, but she just loves it so much. And I love that about Kylie. She just gives it absolutely everything to the performance. But yeah, it was good to be back on stage. Good to have Todd there and Helen and also yeah, Mark we had drinks after the show had finished, and he's a really good guy as well. It's a really lovely, warm kind of cozy feeling. I mean, apart from Todd, who just gives me crap marks, but it's such a great show. I think at the moment, it's with the devastation that's happening across the world, and here right here in our backyard, with the storms that are coming, and the floods that are ripping through the country. It's maybe a nice escapism for a lot of people at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's rating really well, so it's really resonating with people at this time for sure. Um, for the first night you're on this season, there seems to be two groups: the ones that got either perfect scores of 40 or near that score, and then another group
Mm.
that was scored sort of in the 20s. Now you received higher in that group with 27, but it must be a lot harder being in the All Star series because some of the other contestants are coming off previous wins or they're actually grand finalists, well, including Kylie Gillies.
Oh yeah, mate. I think I've been stitched up here again. I'm in a very good. Group B is very good. Group B is incredible. So yeah, I remember I was dancing. I think nearly last. I think the first week, and everyone had been getting tens. I'm like, am I going to get tens? I mean, I've been practicing pretty hard. Maybe I'll get tens. And then I got sixes and sevens, and I couldn't. Like my face didn't lie. If you watch it back, I am so shattered. Like my face doesn't lie at all. So I was mortal. I was like, oh, I thought I thought I was better than that. But
Oh,
I'm up against like there were times throughout the recording that even I think Todd or Helen says you can't even tell who the professional is
yeah.
with some of the dancing that we're seeing this year on the competition. So everyone has worked so hard to bring their dancing up to an elite level. And I think you're going to see a lot more tens this series.
For sure. The performance that you did in episode two, where you started off in bed and then you came out with that sort of disco type outfit, Lots of
Yep.
acting in there. Does it make it a little bit easier combining your acting skills into the dancing?
Oh, mate, that's what's been really fun for Alana and I throughout the process. She would help me with the dancing, and I would help her with the acting. So we're actually a really good team for one another. So yeah, I love the little bit of acting stuff. We've got incredible um, creative direction from Kelly Abbey. She's an exceptional human being as well, and really brings such a wonderful energy to the pre-show, to during the filming, and also to our rehearsals. Yeah, she really helps. She's just such a great storyteller, and not just through through her words, but just through her dance and direction. So that really, I think it really comes through with everyone's dancing. But yeah, we worked really hard on our acting, and I was helping Alana through that stuff as well.
That was really fun. That the bed and the sort of disco type thing was awesome. So,
Oh, it was great.
have you and Kylie remained friends since the first season? I mean, I asked that because you've obviously got the call to come in and co-host the morning show. And by the way, you were perfect in that role.
Oh, thank you very much. Yeah, I loved it. Yeah, Carl's. I mean, I'm always popping up on different networks doing little fill-ins and little things here and there. So, yeah, Kylie and I've always remained, yeah, I wouldn't say like super tight, but yeah, we're buddy buddy. Every time if we bump into each other, there's always a good
Yeah.
chat and a good yarn. She's, as I said, she's just such a lovely woman who loves the show, and she was a really, she was really great the other day on the morning show with me. She was helping guide me through the whole thing. We had a lot of laughs throughout the show. So yeah, but I hope there's more opportunities for that. So Larry, if you need to go off and do some more shows, it's okay. I can fill in.
He's always busy doing the chase, so I'm sure you'll get another call. You spoke there about popping up in other networks, doing little bits and pieces. You are very versatile in your work. I mean, stage, musicals, acting, presenting, dancing. Now, where do you find yourself gravitating towards these days? Is there a passion in there?
Oh, mate, I think I've always, and I said this many years ago when I first did Australian Idol, that if there was opportunities in any field, I'd love to give it a go. I love doing things that scare me. I love, it's a broad spectrum when you say, every time if I go anywhere and says, what's your occupation? I just say entertainer, because I kind of do a bit of everything. I don't really gravitate to anything other than to the work, to the job that
Mm.
gets you to the next job. I really love acting. It's a great form of storytelling. I love taking photos. I love making like little short films, little clips, little skits, little songs. Been doing a bit more comedy sort of stuff with some friends recently, especially during the pandemic when we needed a laugh. But yeah, as I said, entertainment comes in all different forms. So as long as I can keep doing that sort of stuff, or finding work, I'm not too fussed in what I do, as long as it's telling good stories and hopefully telling good Australian stories.
Well, I have to ask, I suppose even if the answer is yes, you can't actually tell me yes, but have you been approached at all for Australian Idol, either in the host or judging role? Or if not, at least is that something you'd be interested in?
Oh man, I've been pushing this barrow for a couple of years,
Hmm.
knowing that we're coming up to our 20th anniversary for Australian Idol. I would love the opportunity to be a part of the show. Yeah, whether it's a hosting role or whether it's some sort of mentoring role for the people coming on the show, or even judging would be great. Would love it. Love the opportunity. So if you're listening, network execs, I'm here if you need. Uh, easy to work with. Happy to be here. Uh, sometimes funny and lovely Rob Mills.
I know the ones at Seven. They definitely listen to these podcasts, so for sure. Look, I
Oh,
want
great.
to talk about your role in Neighbours. You were a villain in the show, Finn Kelly. I mean, you did drown.
Misunderstood, Aaron. Misunderstood. I'm going to stop you there.
Uh,
Some say villain, some say misunderstood. So that's okay. Look, we all, you don't put me in a box. That's all I'm saying. Don't put me in a box.
Okay, you were a misunderstood person
That's
in the
right.
role of Finn Kelly. You did drown, but that didn't stop them from bringing you back in a bit of an unusual way. Now that the show is finishing up, can they bring Finn back yet again? Any calls yet?
The, the ghost of Finn Kelly did come back a year after I died, which I loved. I loved being in the house with in the Kennedy household with Susan and tormenting her again. Yeah, I went out. I did. I think I definitely went out peak soap. Um, digging a grave for Susan and then tripping and falling and cracking my head and the grave filling up with water and me drowning in my own grave. I think that's peak soap. I don't know if you can bring me back, but I would love to see some of the old cast come back. Not just the big names of the Kylies and the Jasons and the Guy Pearce and Margot Robbie and all that, but all the actors who have come through. It would be great to have some sort of cameo. I think in the last few months, I'm sure the writers are busily working, trying to work out how best to how do we do this? How do we close it out? Do we finish with a Sharknado? Do we burn down Erinsborough and Paul Robinson gets his dream and wish of doing a development of condos? And I don't know how they're going to end it, but I would love to see some of the old cast come back for sure.
Well, let's play writer now. How would you end Neighbours?
Oh, mate, I think, as I said, maybe a Sharknado, maybe.
Sharknado.
I like the idea of. I really like the idea of Carl and Susan saying goodbye to the street. Um, or maybe Clive Palmer knocks it down and turns it into a dinosaur theme park or something.
All right,
I
put
don't know.
those ideas forward. See how you go.
I don't know. Or like, yeah, or it's a big fire, or it's some sort of tornado. I do like the idea of just Dr. Carl and Susan saying goodbye to the street,
Yeah.
and they were the voice and they were the moral compass of Erinsborough for all that time. So, or maybe, yeah, I'm not sure. I just love to be in the room though. I'm sure they're busily working through that sort of storyline because they're writing 3 months ahead, so it must be towards the end now.
Yeah. And Toadie waving at the back saying goodbye as well. Uh,
Maybe there's a big lawsuit. He's representing the street against Paul Robinson. I don't know. I don't know
Oh
what it
yeah.
is.
Great. I want to move on and talk. Wondering that if you've actually spoken to any of the cast of late after the news was revealed that Neighbours would be ending. I mean, I gather you have. If so, how are the Neighbours family holding up?
Yeah, I spoke to Ellen and Jackie most recently, and some of the young guys. They're doing okay. My mate Ben Hall he's just finishing up on the show anyway. I know that Benny and Zimmer and all those guys, the younger kids have, some of them bought houses and, now they're trying to work out how they're going to maybe pay the mortgage. And
Oh, jeez.
I'm sure they'll be fine. They're all incredible actors and
Mm.
incredible hardworking people. So I'm sure they won't have any trouble finding work. But Al was saying that he's looking forward to probably just doing more music. Um, but yeah, it will be sad. I think it's such a great relationship between Jackie and Al over all those years. I haven't reached out to Ryan yet, but I definitely will in the next few weeks. It is a bit sad. It's a wonderful family, an incredible crew out there with so many memories. Not just
Mm.
working on that show, but some of the crew that have come through that show. And I'm not just talking about the soundies and the camera operators, the ADs who have gone on to bigger and better things, the writers, the editors
Yeah.
who do, I think, probably the hardest job on that show. They are editing 2 feature films worth of footage every week, turning it into 6 episodes. Like it's insane the amount of footage. But yeah, I'm pretty sad for everybody. Pretty sad for Australia. Because I really feel like they're tackling some really big stories and some big issues in a really kind and thoughtful way, especially the last few years. A lot of diversity chat, a lot of quality chat, and also moving away from different sort of stereotypes in Australian culture. I think they've been at the forefront of really championing good, wholesome, yeah, Australian values over the last 37 years. And come at me if you like, but I think they've done a pretty good job of being at the forefront, having the first gay marriage on television, having the first trans person on television.
Mm.
Yeah, they're incredible. I think they've done an incredible job.
Do you think it's going to have a devastating sort of impact on the Australian arts industry? I mean, you've even mentioned the amount of opportunities it's created for not just actors, but the crew as well. Or do you think it's just going to be other ways of having opportunities through, I guess, streamers or other people that are picking up Australian content.
Yeah, maybe that's it. Look, maybe the time of the soap is done. You know, this has been running for 37 years. No, I know Home and Away is still running pretty strong, but there aren't many soaps around the world that are you know that are having still a lot of success. So maybe our appetite for entertainment has changed. Um, Maybe it does open the door for, like you say, more Australian drama or different kinds of drama. Or I really just hope they don't lose the facility out there at Channel Zero. That's the old at
Mm.
Nuttawading. So you know, that's where they filmed Prisoner. There's so much history there. I really hope it doesn't get. I was joking before about Paul Robinson turning it into apartments, but I hope they don't actually sell it off and turn it into apartments. I think it's got so much history and so many great studios in there. I think Screen Victoria or Screen Australia could maybe turn it into a working school as well.
You went as far as calling on the Prime Minister to save Neighbours. What did you hope or think that the government could do to save Neighbours, or is it sort of put more funding back into the arts, or what were you hoping with that?
I think it's to put more funding back into the arts. We've seen over the last few years that this government, the coalition, has just disregarded, and I'm pretty sure we were just non-essential,
Yeah.
which is kind of sad when you think of it. What was everyone doing in the pandemic but watching TV, watching movies, streaming music, like doing art, doing projects with that? That's all under the arts umbrella. And then to say that we're not essential is like, it's very essential right now. In fact, it's the most essential thing that we need. It's the thing that brings us all together is storytelling and art and creative things. Um, yeah, look, there's an election coming up. I definitely might be voting for someone who doesn't think that arts are important. Um, I look whether the government should step in to save a show that has hundreds of jobs and makes, you know, I think it's a great calling card and a great business card for it's a great advertisement for Australia. I don't know. Obviously, it doesn't make enough money for the government. It's not a mining job, you know, which has probably tens of jobs or hundreds of jobs, but they make more money. So, I yeah, I would say arts are far more important as a calling card than sending out coal.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, let's go right back now. Even before Australian Idol, I guess growing up, what led you down this path? Now, I understand that you were very sort of musical in high school. Was your family musical? What led you to all this?
Mate, I've always been singing ever since I was a little kid. Mum, Mum famously took me to karaoke when I was quite young, um, and I loved it. I just loved being on stage. I think I sang soon after that at a school concert, um, in front of my peers at the end of the year concert, and my brother had done musical theatre. I remember seeing him in Bye Bye Birdie when he
Oh,
was
wow.
maybe in year seven, year eight.
Yeah.
I was in primary school, and I was like, oh, he's pretty good. And my brother one day came home from school. Came home from work. He was working at the pub. He came home the next day. And he's like, I sang with the band last night. I was like, what? You
Hmm.
sang with the band? He's like, yeah, I sang with the band. How did you sing with the band? Because all they heard me singing backstage one day, and then they let me get up and have a sing. So I thought that was the coolest thing. And obviously, you know, like most young kids, they want to be like their older siblings. And I was like, well, I'm going to do that. So yeah, soon after I got myself into singing at school, singing in bands. Um, Dad always loved music as well. He was in bands when he was a kid. I don't think he was very good, but he tells me he was singing in garages and stuff, singing old Beatles and stuff when he was a kid. But
Oh,
we always had
cool.
music on in the house. My grandmother loved those old school Frank Sinatra movies with Grace Kelly and Bing Crosby, and um, parents took me to musicals when I was much younger. So I didn't realize that it was something that I could actually do professionally as a job until maybe after school I started singing in bands, and yeah, I did that 3 or 4 nights a week and didn't really think that I could be a professional musical guy until I did Grease the Arena Spectacular. So yeah, and after that I was like, oh, I could do this. I mean, I've got a lot of work to do. I need to learn how to sing properly. I need to learn how to dance and to and to act. So I just took lots of singing lessons, dance lessons, and acting lessons, and yeah, just worked really hard with the opportunity that I had.
Well, the dancing lessons paid off, obviously. Now you ended up on
Oh, mate,
dancing.
thank you. But look, we'll see how it plays out this series. I think I was. I think look, I'll stick with. I'm a smart mover. I don't think I'm a triple threat just yet.
I'm only guessing that the Australian Idol experience would have been something mysterious, if that's a good word, because every other season, new contestants would have been aware of the process, the popularity, the expectations, but you would have been going in totally blind because that being the first season, not even knowing if the show would be a success or not. What was it like for you and the first lot of contestants?
Naivety is probably a good word for it, Aaron. At 21, I didn't really have a good understanding of who I was as a person, but knew that I really loved singing, loved performing. Um, and this was a really just a fun experience for me. It was the first time I've ever been on a plane before. The first time I'd
Wow.
been, yeah, first time I'd sort of I had taken caravan trips and stuff as a kid with the family. This is the first, yeah, my flight to Sydney was the very first time that I'd been on a plane. So looking
Wow.
back now, I'm like, oh, I've been on so many flights. It's ridiculous, but I still get the same joy getting on the plane. It's bloody great. Um, so I love the experience. I love meeting new people. I love meeting people from all across the country and all different walks of life and different experiences. It was a really great, eye-opening experience and got to meet some really incredible people. Um, and instead of singing 30 songs a night in a pub, I only had to sing one song. I was like, literally, it's half a song. So like, this is great.
And,
Don't have
and
to blow up my, don't have to blow up my voice singing 30 songs.
you did smash out some big songs though, didn't you? I mean, I know they're only, 90-second versions, but Robbie Williams, Westlife, Noiseworks, Ronan Keating must have been a blast, or it was also, it must have been nerve-wracking as well.
Super nerve wracking. Um, if I had my time again, I'll probably choose a couple of different songs. I think I went with songs that I thought people would like. And there's one thing I teach kids these days: it's sing something that really resonates with you. Um, that's how you show your true self or your authentic self. Is singing a song for someone else is not really you're not really doing it for yourself. It's not really an authentic version of yourself. So I think I was sort of putting on a mask a bit, trying to sing. I mean, there's no doubt I didn't. I liked those songs, but I think there were probably songs that probably resonated with me, and maybe I was not self aware enough at the time to realize that. But that's okay. That comes with maturity and growth and learning all about self worth and all those sorts of things that you learn later on in life. So yeah, I always tell the kids if you are going to do a show like this or do an audition, find something that really resonates with yourself and helps tell your story better.
The I guess the versatility kicked in quite early because soon after that you were in a presenting role after Idol. Didn't you do a little hidden camera show for 10 from memory?
Yeah, this is true, Aaron. This is good research. Well done. It was called Stooged. I think it was a Denmark show, a Danish show called Spoofed. I'm glad they changed the name here in Australia to Stooged. But the hidden cameras were, I would say, the size of a small fridge, and they were made of, and they were, and they were made of mirrors. So I'm like, I don't think they were that hidden in their house. So I don't think the show worked that well. Technology has come a long way since then, mate. I gotta say, technology has come a long way.
Absolutely. And then I
But I
think
really did. I really loved doing it though. I really loved. Uh, it was a bit of a laugh, like working with Yvette Duncan. She was great, and helping people, have to sort of stooge their mates. I think I really loved it. I loved the opportunity. It was great. Good to have a laugh.
well, another blast from the past. You did that late night quiz show on Nine called The Mint. I mean, I guess do you cherish the opportunity to hone your presenting skills? I mean, with an opportunity like that, I mean, it's different, but it's late night something. It's I guess it's another type of versatility that you've put under your belt.
Oh, mate, that like a lot of people will go to presenting school, pay thousands of dollars to learn how to stand in front of a camera and talk. We got paid to talk and ramble for 4 hours a night. Like I was some weeks I did three shifts Most weeks was like one or two shifts in the week, but from midnight till 3 or 4 in the morning, we would just talk to the camera and talk about your day, talk about why someone should join the game, or talk about, yeah, it was an insane amount of talking. But yeah, you definitely helped hone your skills and get more comfortable talking in front of a camera. So yeah, to get paid to do that sort of stuff. I mean, it wasn't a lot of money, but still, it was a job, it was a gig,
Yeah.
and as I said, yeah, you learn on the job, and I think it's been a lot of my career is learning on the job.
You went a bit more big production style with the Revive Young Talent time. That was a great show, a lot of fun. I remember being in the audience for that one. That must have been a big weight on your shoulders, having like the past history of the show, which is a fond memory to so many Australians. I think we were probably robbed with that show being cancelled. But what was your memories of that production?
I loved it. Meeting Johnny Young for the very first time over in Perth. What a gentle and a gentleman, and actually, in the true sense of the word, he's a gentleman. Like, just all he ever wanted and all he still ever wants is to empower young people to be the best performers. So I can sort of relate with Johnny, and I was really, to be given the keys to the phrase "Good night, Australia." That's pretty
Mm.
wonderful. We had a great team, and I really loved it. As I said, I loved empowering the young kids, helping them out with their rehearsals, or um, trying to pass down some words of wisdom. He's also from someone who's still trying to work stuff out as well. I was sort of mid-20s at the time when we did that show. But yeah, I reveled in the opportunity to work on a live Shiny Floor show, working with great floor managers, great camera crew, and directors in the truck, and learning the art and the craft of the sort of script writing as well. And yeah, I really loved it, and would love the opportunity to do more of that sort of stuff. But some of the kids that came off the show, I mean, Benny, who was in the Little Bandits crew, he's now doing Neighbours. There's a bunch of guys that have come through High Five. There's um, Aiden I just saw recently in Jagged Little Pill, the musical. He was also in
Ah,
Fangirls, the musical. He's doing really well. He's writing some really good music as well.
he's the
Had a
one
good
I
chat with him,
remember
and
for some reason. That Aiden, yeah.
he's so great. Like, like he's a real triple threat. That kid, such a lovely young boy. Um, yeah, they've just everyone's gone on to do incredible things. So I'm super proud of the kids.
Well, you were first with Australian Idol, but you were also first with The Masked Singer Australia. You're revealed to be the Wolf. When you were pitched this show, were you thinking, what the hell? I mean, like, I have to dress
Yeah.
up as a wolf and then I get unveiled. And what drew you to doing that show?
Oh, just the fun of it, mate. Um, I'm pretty good at saying yes to silly stuff, and to things that you just can take the piss out of yourself a bit. So I loved it, loved the concept. It's so strange and wacky and weird. Um, but once again, I think it was a great show for the escapism for audiences.
Mm,
It was a really good family fun show. There was no there's no drama in it. No one was trying to create drama like a lot of reality TV is all about trying to create drama so you feel
mm.
better about your life. So this actually just brought nothing but pure joy to everyone. Oh no, it brought joy to me just being part of the show. Uh, but also it was so hot
Oh,
in
yeah.
those in those costumes. But at the same time, like, we're only out there for a couple of minutes. There's a few times I've heard a few people say that they were like, "Come on, Osha, no more questions. I'm dying in here." But you couldn't tell anyone. You couldn't tell Osha. You couldn't speak. You weren't allowed to do anything. It's the whole thing of secrecy is the full cloak and dagger of it. It's elite. It's an elite level. Like, no one knew anything. I couldn't tell my friends. I couldn't tell anyone at Neighbours when I was filming it. So I just kept telling them I was off to do some corporate gigs, and yeah, it's
Yeah,
crazy.
I was wondering what the excuses were, keeping it a secret for everyone. So just, I'm off for a corporate gig, or that was pretty much it, was it?
Yeah, stuff through. I've got a junket, or I've got to just do a couple of corporate gigs. I've got a wedding, or yeah, just whatever you could make up. You just had to make it up.
Let's talk about music for a moment. Are there any plans to release anything new, or is that still a passion?
Um, Look, I'm never going to rule it out, but I, I don't think it is the passion for me. I think I realized a few years after getting dropped from the label that I realized I love performing, I love singing. Maybe the songwriting is not for me, and it would feel disingenuous to just sing and release music that just wasn't really from my soul.
Yeah.
I have to find a really good reason for it to. I have to really connect with it to want to release it. As I said, that would feel disingenuous to me, and I don't want to release music for the sake of releasing music. I think it has to have it needs to have meaning. It needs to have a story attached to it. It needs to have a part of you, and a story. Yeah, I'm a big fan of things that you have to connect with it. I look at my friend who I met on Idol, Ben Abraham, who's releasing his album after like 2 years of putting it on hold, and this sort of build up to this unleashing of his soul will be incredible for the world. If you haven't heard of him, check him out. His name's Ben Abraham. His album's going to get released this week.
Ben Abraham. All right, we'll check that out. Look, I know it's easy to ask you about Idol and dancing and Neighbours, but one of your main forms of employment, I guess, is on the stage, and you've done it all: Grease, Hair, Wicked, Legally Blonde, Ghost the musical, and you even played Jesus Christ himself. Is there still a musical that's on your bucket list? Because it sounds like you've covered it all.
I'd love to do. There's a great musical written by Sarah Bareilles called Waitress,
Oh.
based on the film from the '90s with it's a sort of a rom-com kind of movie. But yeah, I think it's a really great show. I saw it over in London with Sarah Bareilles and actually her partner playing Dr. Pomatter. So yeah, I'd love to play Dr. Pomatter in that show. I think it's a really fun, beautiful, kind and heartwarming show.
I guess people assume that, because you do musicals, there's heaps of dancing experience in there, and so Dancing with the Stars would be a breeze. Is there less dancing for you in musicals than one might assume?
Oh yes, a lot less dancing for me. I can, as I said, I can pick up some of the choreo. I had to dance a lot in Wicked, in Dancing Through Life, but nowhere near as much dancing as everyone else in the company. They're all like elite professional dancers. And this kind of dancing is ballroom, so it's very different to anything I've ever done before. So yeah, as I said, I'm a smart mover. I would hardly say that I'm a professional dancer, but I think having just the awareness in your body over years of being on stage has definitely helped and put me in good stead for picking up the steps or picking up choreo or just knowing how my body sort of looks and feels and not being scared of the mirrors when you're rehearsing, even though I'm very scared. I'm hoping when people watch this show that they realize just how cool dancing is, not just for women but for men. The men watching go, dancing is great. It's
Yeah.
a really good way of storytelling, but also a really good way of connecting to someone. So yeah, next time you're at the bar and you feel like you just want to go and have a chat, why don't you just maybe ask that person that you're interested in if they would like a dance? I think that's a really good way of connecting. Go a bit old school, you know.
Yeah. In a totally different direction, this is kind of a listener's question because they love this question. Everyone loves a good blooper. Have you had any memorable moments of, like, I don't know, forgetting lines on a stage, falling over, whether it be on stage or television? Was there anything that stands out for you, or have you been pretty lucky?
I've been pretty lucky. I try and be as professional as possible in learning all my lines, but I did forget I forgot a line in Wicked after doing the show for 2 years and not stuffing up. Well, I fell over a few times, but as far as dropping a line, I just completely forgot. We're doing the line cub scene with my friend Gemma Ricks, who plays Alphabet, and I just had nothing. Just I ran down these stairs with this line cub in my hand. My heart was racing and panting and stuff. Oh my god, I got this, and I just blank. Like I remember thinking, do I have milk in the fridge? I don't know why I'm thinking about milk. You need to be talking about the lion cub that you're carrying. And nothing came out. And Gemma just did her next line and I said, thank you. And then we went on. So I broke character. I was just like, thank you. And then, but after 2 years of doing a show, like on my very last show, I couldn't believe it. It was so weird.
Random. Look, just recently I saw a Daily Mail article that said Rob Mills and fiance Georgie stripped down at Cloverleaf Beach in Sydney after announcing their engagement. They're not always going to pick the most like glamorous photos, of course, but did you
What are you saying,
find?
Aaron? What are you saying? What are you saying? Are you saying that I look fat in those photos, Aaron? Is that what you're saying? Are you saying I put
No,
on a few kilos during COVID, Aaron?
I thought you looked fantastic, but I mean,
But
I was just
Georgie, oh, she's sorry,
wonderful.
she looked great, mate. That's just what we look like at the moment. When I saw those photos come up, I was like, sure, great. That's exactly what we look like. We're a little bit unfit, but also we're very happy and having a good life. We were down at the beach catching up with some friends, actually with Chloe Zool, who's doing Hamilton, and her partner Rob, who's doing Home and Away at the moment. So it was good to just catch up with those guys. I think it was the first sunny day that we'd had in a while.
Yeah.
So of course we're stripping down. But mate, I don't worry about any of that stuff. My cup is very full of self-worth from my friends and my peers. So yeah, nothing that doesn't really get to me. It makes me go, oh, I should probably hit the gym a little bit more. But as I said, doesn't get doesn't get me in the feels.
Well, I guess that's where I was leading. I was wondering if you think that's sort of part and parcel of being in the spotlight, or if you thought it was highly intrusive. But I guess you just let it brush
We
over.
posted photos. We probably posted videos and photos of ourselves at the beach with Chloe and Rob that day anyway, with us in our swimmers. So what are you gonna do? Like,
You do know it's a backhanded compliment though, because if they're taking pictures of you on the beach, it means you're in the the A-list group now.
oh, thank you. My brother still like I still like to think I'm sitting around the D list and I'm okay with that as well. I'm happy with my level. I'm never striving to rise up the list of celebrity, that's for sure. I just like having a job and having work, mate. That's the only thing I'm going for.
And quickly, let's finish up with going back to Dancing with the Stars. Your next episode is this Sunday.
Yes.
What can we expect from you this Sunday?
I'm pretty sure it's a quick step. And it is pretty much what you think it is. It's stepping very quickly. So a lot of think of how a horse would canter. It's like a canter. It's like that kind of vibe. So yeah, it's a quick step. The brief is great. It's like a 1950s kind of costumey kind of thing. I'm asking the girl out on the date, but she's the one that's wearing I'll say the old school term. She's the one wearing the pants, but she's the one who's taking control of the sort of the dance. She's the one who's leading me, which I think is really cute. I think it's really empowering for women for this dance. And I really like it. It was super fun to put together.
I've got a really good feeling that you're going to do better than back in 2009 for sure. I'm going to put some money on you for that one. But with
Thanks, mate.
quite a few contestants getting perfect scores, it is going to be a difficult path to the grand final, let alone for anyone actually to win. But yeah, let's wait and see. So what's next for you after Dancing with the Stars?
Oh, a few things, mate, but I'm actually not allowed to talk about any of it right now. You picked a bad time for an exclusive, but soon I'll be able to reveal all. But the next year is looking really busy, so that's good. Can I say that I'm so rapt that theatre is back open, and that people are heading back out to the theatres to see their plays, to see musicals, to see comedy shows, to taking in a live show and supporting the arts. I think confidence is high. And yeah, there's some really great shows that are opening up at the moment across the country. So yeah, get down and check them out. I'm sure everyone would love your support.
Absolutely. Well, good luck with the rest of Dancing with the Stars and those super secret future projects. We'd love to see
Thanks,
you back
mate.
on the morning show too. And I know in another interview you said Kylie did all the heavy lifting, but honestly, you were great. So that's I hope you're back there as well. But thank you for joining me at TV Black Box again today, Rob.
Cheers, man. Cheers so much. And thank you so much for your kind words. You're a very lovely man.
Thank you. Rob Mills, part of the cast of Dancing with the Stars, now screening on 7.